Welcome to the Yellow Trumpet. I am Chituga, and today our topic is the universal narrator. The universal narrator, or the all-knowing narrator, is a brilliant literary device, but a terrible mental strategy. In literature, it is important in certain instances, to have a narrator who is all-knowing and who has every vantage point possible. But when we take up that role as the all-knowing narrator, we find that it is a terrible mental strategy, because our knowledge is limited by our ignorance. And when we assume to know, we make mistakes because we don't. In our relationships with our friends, with our peers, our siblings, our colleagues, our friends, even our spouses, when we assume or draw conclusions, flawed conclusions based on our own conjecture. I'll give you this instance. Missed call. You and your friend or business partner have a dealing. You are to meet today. You give him the first missed call. He is unable to take it. The second missed call, he is unable to take it. The third missed call, he is unable to take it. In that state of confusion, or rather in that circumstance, confusion sets in. Your mind begins to wonder what the possibility is, why he hasn't picked his calls, why it is taking so long for him. Fear creeps in, and then you begin to speculate. Has my business partner bailed on me? For a spouse, you begin to speculate. Who is this person with currently? For a friend, you begin to speculate. Is this guy really my friend? On and on and on it goes, without end. Why? It is based on our ignorance. We do not know. We do not know. And since we seek to a large degree validation from outside of us, we may remain susceptible to this mistake. Which mistake? The mistake of making ourselves the universal narrator. The mistake of adopting a literary device to apply to our personal life. Nigeria as a nation, how is this topic relevant to us? Well, for a start, when it comes to campaigns, I like to go back to campaigns because it is the official process of leadership selection in the country. When it comes to campaigns, we are fond of drawing emotional conclusions based on our biases, based on our rushed judgment, based on our flawed conclusion that a thing is as it is, that a candidate is good for us. Why? Based on our flawed narrative, he is from our village. He caters to the poor. Even though he has been in office and it is his job as a government official to ensure that poverty is eradicated. No. He caters to the poor from what he may have collected from government. It benefits him. So you sing all the praises because he has taken care of you from, you claim, his pocket. Yet his role, which is to take care of you, is largely abandoned. It happens in our politics when a 15 minutes clip is reduced to 30 seconds. And based on that 30 seconds, without listening to the 15 minutes of what was said, we draw conclusions. In doing so, we possibly deny ourselves a better choice. Or at least, we deny ourselves the opportunity to apply a better decision-making process in making that choice. So, how do we combat this? We take responsibility for our thoughts. We do not leave it to the auto-functioning of the mind, automatic functioning of the mind. You cannot say, my mood has changed, therefore I become unpredictable. We take responsibility for what goes on internally, because it is ours to control. It is the primary choice we ought to make as an individual, as a people, as a family. We don't know and are ignorant of most of existence. Taking responsibility means accepting this. Accepting that despite your best effort, it is only a grain, it is not even up to a speck of dust in all of existence. Despite your body of knowledge that you have acquired, it is nothing compared to all of existence. So yesterday we said the universal narrative is an important narrative that allows us expand our possibilities and let others, incorporate others in our society, in our lives, in our daily activities. And today, I'm saying the universal narrator. When we adopt the role of universal narrator, the all-knowing narrator, our actions, our conduct, the result is disappointing because we do not know. Accepting responsibility means agreeing that you don't know, or realizing that you don't know. But actually, do you? That you think you do, does it mean that you do? If you do know, then who are you? I'm not asking of your name or your profession or your trade. I'm asking who you are. No, it's not an insult. No, it's not a challenge. It's an inquiry. You claim to know, don't you? So who are you? The fact that you don't know makes you conscious, rather unconscious. What is required is that knowledge of self, knowledge of your nature, that points you in the right direction. What is the right direction? Is it who to vote? Is it what to eat? Perhaps. Perhaps your mental functioning will influence such choices, but it goes beyond that. Well-being begins from an individual. It begins from home. It begins from a single unit, which we call the family. Before it radiates into society, before it radiates into the state, into the federation. If enough of us communicate with ourselves, perhaps we may come up with a narrative based on multiple vantage points. It will not be universal, but it will cover all angles that a conscious mind viewed. This will allow us reach better decisions in our daily lives, better decisions on who to vote. Why do I keep hammering on who to vote? Because that choice is important as to how societies run. So what is the perspective we take when voting a candidate? This is the universal narrator. We have said that you needn't take a godlike perspective, else you will confuse yourself, because you are not God, nor do you have that power to know everything. And then we mentioned that if you do not adopt this universal or all-knowing perspective, that acknowledging your ignorance allows you make for better decisions. And now the question I ask is, how exactly does this translate into voting the proper candidates? It means when you look at that long ballot over the course of the elections, over the course of the campaigns before the elections, that your choice on who to vote is not based on trends, is not based on popular opinion, is not based on sound bites. Those things are designed mostly to manipulate you. If you are being cajoled to vote for a candidate out of anger, out of hatred for another person, or through any form of misconception or misdirection, rest assured that candidate is not the best choice for you. Any candidate that seeks to hoodwink you into casting your vote in his support will continue to hoodwink you while he has access to government. You might as well be that candidate. You are so concerned for society. You perhaps don't have the money, but you have the energy. Start making that preparation. The legislature is very important. Not just the executive, the legislature is very important, because every decision, most decisions made, especially as it deals with law and setting policies, must go through legislation, the legislature, before it is passed into law or an act. Why do I say you? It is a choice. You might as well sit back and say, nothing did this country. Or you yourself, with all the good deeds in mind that you intend to do, with society in mind, with your community in mind, the well-being of your people, you yourself can take up that challenge. The challenge of not being a universal narrator, but a competitor in the electoral process. Use a small party, register to vote, become a member of that party, participate in their activities, inform the public of your decision, proceed in that direction. During the campaigns, focus on the message. And what is that message? The message is the well-being of the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The message is bringing joy to the lives of Nigerians by easing external pressure, financial pressure, things that force us to do things that we ought not to do. Remember, take a universal narrative in approaching issues, especially a country like Nigeria where diversity is assured. Take a universal narrative. My identity is the cosmos. The cosmos includes and does not exclude. It includes all, including your opponents, your enemies, your rival. Be the universal, do not become a universal narrator. It means assuming that you know. Do you? You don't. I am Chituga. This is the Yellow Trumpet. Take care.